monthly time frame. When we look at Dell on the monthly time frame, all we can see is pretty much the market giving us 50%. As if you know, if you watch all my previous videos, you know I always talk about 50%. So when I say 50%, this is what I'm talking about right here. So from this low to this high, as you see, we get 50%. The market rallies back up. We get another one from this low to this high. As you can see, we get more than 50%. So we get the first 50%, market fails, comes back down. Then we still hold the 50%, so then we continue to rally up. Now, how you might enter on this is a different analysis, but so we get the 50% continuation from there, okay? And now what we have, so we can see Zell just ballooned all the way up, right? So we're gonna be expecting another 50% whenever the Dell decides to give us a 50%. So the best price would be to buy somewhere at 291, right? But if we go into like other time frames, then we can clearly see like different structures and everything. Okay, I would like to go ahead and draw this out for you guys so you guys can see. So we have this small structure over here. That's the low. We have another low right here, and we have another low right here, and we have this small low as well right here. Okay, so let's go to the weekly time frame. Okay. And of course, you see, you kind of see clearly. Remember the first low we had? So we said from this low to this high, 50%. You can buy from there. You know, you can then see again from this low to this high, 50%. Now it also gets pretty tricky in here because you can see that this is also a good low on the weekly time frame. We take out this high right here. So you can see after we take out this high, so this is kind of a low because this is the low that caused the breaker structure or the change of structure that happened right there. And what do we see after that? The market rallies, goes up. We don't get a 50% here. We don't get a 50% here, but then we see this huge rally before the market starts to fall again. So if you can also use from this low to this high. As you can see, the market breaks the 50%, holds it and rally back up, can continue. And then what do we get? Like I said, now this is where it's tricky. Like, how do you trade this properly? As you notice, this is the first 50% bounce that we get from right here. Let's make this smaller. Yeah, because this is the first low. So how do you trade this? Of course, it's gonna get tricky. So this is why they say long term is kind of easier because you're looking to buy at the 50% zone and maybe cheaper if you can get it. So you want to buy at the 50% level, the 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%. If you can get 100% discount, great as well. But if you're buying for long term, you just want to buy at the 50 to 60 then, as low as you can get. The cheaper, the better, right? So what do we have? So we can see market takes this and then starts to rally again. Okay, so that's why I'm saying this can also be another thing for you because you can see this is the low that caused this whole move before the market started falling. And what do we get from this low, right? We get the market come out. Look at this perfectly. So if we take this out, the market grabs this by just lightly tapping this and continues to push higher, okay? Now, of course, on the monthly time frame, you don't see that. You just see a green candle. And like I said, that's why this whole 50% gave it everything else perfectly right there, right? So, because on this one, we get more than 50%. We get like a 70-80%. So let's use a proper retracement too. So if we go from this high to this low, what do we get? Yep, like I said, we get a 71% retracement, okay? Which is still better. 50% is good, 71% is a lot better if you ask me. So on the weekly time frame, that's what we get. Of course, this then becomes our proper low right there. And of course, the market continues to rally. Now inside this weekly time frame, what do we get? We see different changes, structures and everything, okay? So as you can see, the market takes out this high, rallies back up, and continues to push. And of course, now what would we do from here? So we want to go from this high to this low. Look at that. What do we get at this low right there? We get the 50%. So the market taps in here and just continues to rally. So let's take out this small low right there. So what do we get? So obviously you can't enter right here because you don't know what's going to happen. But what do we get? The market takes out this high, and we get a 50% retracement from this high to this low. Look at that. Perfect. 50%. And the market rallies higher again. And then what do we get? So the market takes out this high. See how we're breaking this down from the monthly time frame, the weekly time frame. Now we're going to go to daily time because the daily time frame is going to be where we're going to execute at. Okay. So as you can see, it gets more. You start to see more structure. The monthly time frame is going to be a lot clearer. Like this is what you're looking for ultra long term investment. Like you just want to buy at really good ranges. You can't predict the price, but you can buy the market at a discount. You never want to buy the market at premium price. We want to buy 50% or lower. So like I said, I'll take 60% over 50% or 70%, 80% discount. You feel me? So so if we go to daily time frame, right? So we see we took out this major high. Now look at something that we get over here. This is something I want to show you, okay? So on the daily time frame, what do we get over here? We get this low, get this low right there. We get this low, we get this low, and look, what do we get? Beautiful. So now, so we get this low, this low, this low. So how do we look? Why do we find what the best price is? Okay, so right here, from this low to this high. Okay, now 50% of this low is going to be 348 bucks per share, right? That'd be the burst. This would be 50% discount. And like I said, we might get the 50% discount or we might get lower discount. Like we could try to see if we can buy that 91% or lower. Even if the market takes out this low, we're still pretty good. Because remember, on the weekly time frame, a 50% zone is completely different. This is why different time frames, different fractures and everything. On the weekly time frame, a 50% zone is going to be at 288, but on the daily time frame, our 50% is at 340 something. You can see because we're using the lows as the market rallies up. Okay, now if you look at this, I don't think this is a 50%. Or look at that, it is a 50%. So this is the valid look because we get a small pullback, push higher, we get a 50%, and we continue to rally back up. As you can see, the market respects the daily time frame, structure. So I mean, this is pretty much it. So the best price to be to buy Dell on the daily time frame, like I said, would be 50% or lower. And now this is something to talk about. Let's say the market comes down here, right? The market comes back down here. It tries to buyers try to step in. They don't have enough buy. The market starts to keep falling. That is still fine. Then we're gonna go into a dipper. We're gonna find a better way to go ahead and buy more shares to buy the stock. So what we could, like I said, we can just go to the weekly time frame. If the daily time frame low fails on here, we want to result to the weekly time frame because then we're going back to ultra clean structures. Now you can't go wrong looking at the weekly time frame because if the market goes this pullback here, we're definitely going to try to see if buyers can come in right here and try to push the market higher. And like I said, we keep going to lower time. That's why I say we can't go past the weekly because on the weekly we have this strong low. So like I said, this would be somewhere. It's going to be somewhere in here at 293 or 340, right there. Those are going to be the 50% zone we're going to be looking at the market to buy from on the daily time frame. So I mean that's pretty much it. Like I said, using the daily time frame, using the lows and the highs. So I mean, as you guys can see, I've showed you examples of the market was 50% retracement. So like I said, just 50%. So that's pretty much it. So if you guys like the technical analysis video, please like and subscribe and comment whatever you have down below. Thank you for watching.